We just spoke and had a wonderful panel speaking about what it matters to the youth and how they shape our policies. But to what extent can that shape goes and what drives that change? What impulses these young individuals to take that step further? Our next global engagement chat is led by a social entrepreneur, Louise Mabulo, and she'll be taking two amazing young people who've achieved such big things while at such young ages. For Young Voices Big Impact speech, please welcome Louise Mabulo and her panel.
Thank you so much. All right, can you all hear me all right? Fantastic. Thank you so much for starting off our session. I'm so excited to welcome you all to Young Voices Big Impact, where we're going to be talking to two inspiring individuals, or basically like superheroes to me, that have impacted so many young people and have really grown their growth. So everything you need to know from kickstarting a venture or a project all the way to international partnerships and doing that at a young age. So I'm here joined by Anoushka Sinha. Thanks so much for being here with us. And she is the founder of Anupam Foundation, which is essentially this gender equity and education organization that has impacted over 100,000 young girls all across the world and in India. And not just that, but she started at 10 years old. Can you imagine? And of course, I'm here with McLeavey, who is the founder of GetGo, which is a youth employment platform. And what's really interesting is you've raised over $800,000 for youth employment in New Zealand. I can't imagine raising that much and starting at 14 years old.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to this conversation. Let's get started. And I want to start the questions really simple. How did you guys start so young at 10 and 14? And what drove you to begin your work? I mean, Anoushka, I'd love to hear your story and beginning this for gender equity for young girls.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and hello to everyone who's here with us. I have a question for all of you before I begin. Do you all think you can make a difference? Raise your hand if you think so. Amazing. And that's what really started my journey. At first, I wasn't sure. At 10 years old, what can I really do? What can a young child at 10 do to solve inequalities? I saw inequalities all around me growing up in a patriarchal community surrounded by hatred, female infanticide, girls getting killed, not unable to go to school, not being able to have access to their rights, their bodily autonomy. What could I possibly do about this? So I asked my mom, a champion, somebody who pursued her PhD with me as a baby. She'd take me to her classes. So for me, she was a champion, an icon. So she told me, even if you're 10 years old, you still know some things that a 5-year-old doesn't. And that really struck me. At 10 years old, I invited one kid into my house, tutored them, and they showed results. They secured A+, A's in their report card. That really taught me I can do something, no matter my age. That movement sprung into a bigger revolution. Today, I have impacted over 1 million people, 100,000 of them, through my foundation alone that I started when I was 14. We have a scholarship fund that funds education for young girls in India, named in the honor of my father to honor his legacy. And not only that, we work across 5 core programs that cover 17 SDGs. Growing up, I didn't have mentors or people or women I could look up to. But I decided I'd create a community of mentors and leaders who other girls around me could always look up to and gain inspiration from. So at my foundation, we work with cabinet ministers. I currently serve as one of the youngest advisors to the World Bank Solutions for Youth Employment Initiative and an advisor to UNICEF. In doing so and all of that, I ensure that young girls know that if they can see it, they can be it. If they see me sitting here, if a 15-year-old girl sees me sitting here, if a 5-year-old sees me sitting here, she should know that she can be here on this stage and make a difference in her community and the world. So what started on a personal level of facing inequalities, disparities, and even facing disownment after I choose to raise my voice for my rights really led into a global mission that now drives me every single day. Today, I worked with the United Nations, with the World Bank, with UNEP, and all of these organizations. But in all of that is a purpose rooted in leading a life that impacts others positively. Thank you.
That's incredible. Oh my, round of applause, please, for Anoushka. It just tells me that there's no excuse for anyone to say, oh, I can't do anything because I'm too young. And I would love for everyone to hear this and learn that, hey, you know, I could be 10 years old or super young and start working with these giant international organizations and not be intimidated in these spaces and actually tell them, hey, I have something amazing to offer. But moving on to Liam, now you were living in a rural community in New Zealand, and it has one of the highest unemployment rates. And I'm curious about how you looked at the statistic on this paper and decided, I could solve that. Can you tell me about it?
First of all, e ngā mana, e ngā raurangatira mā, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou. I've just said in New Zealand's native language, very warm greetings. I acknowledge all of the leaders, all of you are here today. You're right, I was sitting in a youth council meeting in my community in Horowhenua, and here came a paper across our desks saying that 25.9% of young people in my community were unemployed. And I said, that's crazy. But it was crazy to me that for years, we'd had such persistent high youth unemployment. And I was like, I want to do something about that because I was so disappointed that the ambition was so low because the unemployment rate was so high. So what I did is I simply created a Facebook page called Youth Jobs Horowhenua that I posted entry-level jobs for young people in my community, and people started applying for jobs on the Facebook page, getting jobs, earning incomes. The rest is history. It wasn't as easy as that. What I realized is that with youth unemployment and unemployment generally, there are so many more challenging intersections. It's with education and skills, that they're relevant to the labour markets that they're operating in. It comes down to preparedness for work. It comes down to the economic capacity of an employer to be able to employ young people. So what I did is I looked at all of those different things together and approached our new government at the time in New Zealand and said, hey, we've got a problem here. Here's the solution. I brought the community, I brought the evidence, and we're really lucky to raise just under $1 million from the New Zealand government. Fun fact, at the time when that was announced publicly, our local media put an article up in the national sort of newspaper saying, teen writes to government minister, gets millions of dollars in government funding.
Just like that.
I got clickbaited, but in terms of the outcomes that's delivered, we dropped the youth unemployment rate down to 14.5%. We built an education to employment model where every single young person in my community now gets engagements to employers throughout their high school education. That was not the case before when I started. And years later, thousands of people impacted, and really proud to see that continuing.
That's incredible. Round of applause, please, for Liam. And I love this because you both started so young, and you're still young. Could you, if you don't mind sharing your ages right now?
I'm 22.
22?
I'm proudly 24.
24. So early 20s, from teenage years to early 20s, right? And we entered these spaces, myself included, at I think I was 18 when I began. I'm 26 now. And one of the things that's really interesting is we get thrown onto this amazing platform in front of international. You're with the World Bank, with the UN. You worked with government and corporate agencies. And you worked across private, public sector foundations and NGOs. And it's so intimidating to get in those spaces and talk to these world leaders and say, hey, actually, I have something really important to say. But my question is, number one, how did you do it, and how did you gain the confidence to get in those spaces? Number two, how did you not get boxed in by being, oh, you're a young person, it's so inspiring, but okay, bye, thank you. And how did you get them to work with you? And what was the benefit that they offered to you? And what are the pros and cons and challenges of working with international organizations like that?
I mean, obviously, it's the resources, it's the ability to scale when you're working with organizations of this level. It's the ability to get mentored. There's obviously that. And, it's really difficult trying to make people understand without them looking at you from a lens of skepticism as a young person. What can this person even do at this age, What are they even talking about? Do they even know what they're talking about? So there's definitely that. But I have a very important message to share with all of you. All of us here have a voice that is really unique, a voice that is different from any person in the world. So use it. If somebody tries to tell you that you can't do this, or you're not capable enough, or that you're too young to do anything of that sort, just tell them, I think otherwise, and keep doing what you're doing. That's what I did. I mean, young people like me today are beyond tokenism. We are not here just as mouthpieces of organizations. We are not just here as people who are going to talk about something because it suits the organization's agenda. No, we're not going to do that. And if they tell us to, we rebel, we resist, and we ensure that we're talking about things that matter to us and that impact our future. So that's what I did. I refused to be fit in those boxes, compartmentalized, or stay by the tokenistic norms that they sometimes, and they still try to do that with us. So raise your voice, know that it's valuable, know that it's really powerful.
Thanks for that, Liam.
So when I found out about the youth unemployment rates, I was like, I want to go speak at a meeting of all of our local education leaders. And I don't think I realized what I was getting myself into. I created this PowerPoint slide in big, bold, red font that said 25.9%. That was the youth unemployment rate, and put it on the slideshow. And there was some quietness in the room. But my local mayor got up and said, this is amazing that this young person has had the guts to get up and speak to all of you and talk about this issue. Just building on some of the points that Anoushka made, generational problems and challenges require generational leadership. The reality is, as young people, we are valuable. We do have a point of view that is valid and should be heard. The common experiences that I've experienced over 10 years of doing this sort of work is that there are always assumptions made about age. Always about age and our ability to do things. And I've always found that the reality is we just have to persist, stay authentically ourselves. Being authentically ourselves is our superpower. And also building cross-sector partnerships along the way that you can bring coalitions together and get things done, because that's how you achieve sustainable change. So yeah, that was a good PowerPoint with some bold red font. Really does some good work.
I agree. I mean, thinking about it, so synthesizing what you've said, it's like, first of all, gaining the credibility to do that, the confidence to show that there is a problem and we have the solution and we can bridge that gap. Now, I'm also kind of curious, how do you break that ageism gap, or at least build intergenerational collaboration, right? Because we can always sometimes work in echoing chambers where we're young people, we only talk to young people. But what I find very unique about both of you is that you work across ages. And how do you drive meaningful change through that engagement?
Yeah, I'm happy to start. So one of the things that I found was defining the problem you're trying to solve. Really crystally understanding that. And what I did is, so here's youth unemployment. Here's the journey of young people in my community from high school right through to their mid-20s, like myself. And here's the different things that are happening in their lives. The next level down is finding your influencers, finding your champions. So what are the different things that people are doing that impacts youth unemployment or impacts whatever the sort of problem you're trying to solve, and overlaying that on your journey of your customer. This applies in business as it does in social change. And you can find those people that will support you, but you can actually have the conversation with them because you know what they do and you know how they can make a difference and contribute to your social action.
I think just building on what Liam said, find your champions. And in my case, that would be finding mentors, people who really believe in you, somebody who is far ahead in their career, but who sees the value in you. Because as I said, all of us have something to offer. And if somebody isn't seeing it, they're not the right person to be with. It's not that they are not the right person, but they're not the right one for you. So find your mentors. Find people who will give you your time, give you their expertise, and allow you to become into a person that can impact lives. So not only that, the other thing that I really found helpful is peer-to-peer communities. I have done that with my foundation. I've built a peer-to-peer communities where young girls who are aspiring to become STEM professionals can come in, match with other young girls of their age, and learn from them and understand their pain points, their challenges, their commonalities. So not only find your mentors, but find people who will uplift you and support you when you need it the most.
I love that so much, and that's a really good thought, finding your champions and also finding your mentors. And something I like to say is if you find a really good mentor, you can download 40 years worth of their life experience, their mistakes and challenges into your brain in, like, I don't know, a nice coffee chat or a couple coffee chats if you can manage it. And so I love finding those right people and surrounding myself with people with the right energy. Because in the end of the day, we're all just very human. And so we try to build upon each other so the next generation is better than the last. And speaking of being just human, you guys started basically in elementary school, high school,
yeah.
and did your projects throughout college. How did you balance that school, work, life, and then having those Hannah Montana double lives of being a rock star on a stage on a panel, and then all of a sudden going back to your community and being just a kid?
Yeah, if I was going to be honest, I probably didn't balance it, if I'm being truly authentic to myself. There were long days of literally getting up, going to high school, then working in the evenings, going to different meetings and doing things, and rinse, repeat, chuck in a few different board directorships, some different advisory work, and then a university degree on top of working full-time. It's quite a busy thing. So 5 years ago, didn't really have much balance. Now, 5 years later, I've focused on a few things and I do them really, really well. So I have my job at PwC, I'm a consulting manager. I have my deputy chair role of our National Student Employment Agency, and then I volunteer and do cool things with people like the We Are Family Foundation, being able to speak here, and there's some We Are Family delegates here in the room, focusing on that intergenerational movement. So for me right now, focusing on a few things and doing them really, really well, because being really efficient and being really focused is how you can also maximize your performance and your impact.
Oh,
Yeah, it's working.
there we go.
I think for me specifically, I'd be lying if I'd be saying there hasn't been evenings or after school nights where I've been just like, I just want to pet my dog and have some ice cream and just watch TV and not do anything. That's actually a reality. It's okay to take some time off and stay back, and also take time off for your wellness, right? Because when I'd be, as you said, Hannah Montana Live, because I relate to that. I was a professionally trained singer. I sang and released 2 music albums at 12 and 14 and sold off all of the proceeds to fund for education of young girls in India. And we funded 14 young girls' education through that fund. And so I would be lying that there would be times where I'd come to school so tired, preparing for exams, and then going off and working on my youth-led initiative, and then going on and consulting and advising the World Bank or UNICEF, and then also having my radio program that I had to script and sound engineer for. So there would be so many things I'd be doing. But then again, these are passions that drive me. So anytime you're feeling like things are overwhelming, take a break. It's okay to take a break. But also know why you're doing this. What's the purpose behind doing all of these things? If you're doing it just for the sake of it, just for the titles, stop it. It's not for you. But if you're doing it for something that fulfills you, that makes it up for a greater purpose in life, keep on doing it. And that for me was really why I kept going even on tiring nights and days. And that's what really makes me want to get up every single day of bed, even when I'm tired, jet lagged, on 0 hours of sleep. But yeah, find your purpose and let it drive you. And you'll never be tired a single day of your life.
Very purposeful life, yeah. And I'm thinking, we started off with a big impact, the superhero statement. You guys are amazing. I can't lie. But also, we also went to the beginning of your journey and how you started, and the personal life and how you balanced that. Now, how did you scale it? Because Liam, I know you started on a Facebook group, and you told me that you were fundraising through your music albums. What was the process of scaling your initiatives and projects like?
Sure. Is that a question for you?
For both of you, yeah.
Okay. So scaling, really, it just happened by chance, to be honest. They've reached a point where it was scaling the Youth Employment Initiative get-go. We'd delivered all the outcomes and impacts, and I was really happy. And I actually made that decision to exit and transfer the entire social enterprise into community ownership. So it's still being run today with an amazing team behind it. I just got involved in things that I thought could make an impact. There wasn't really that intentionality that, this is going to be a big global scaling thing, but it's about how you make a difference. And the opportunities that I've had, doing stuff internationally, being here, it's just because I've said yes to cool opportunities that have come my way that align to my mission and purpose and my why. I love helping people. I love working with businesses, helping them succeed. And I also love seeing communities thrive. And it's been all of those things and the different opportunities that's come my way. It's just happened, which is like life, which is quite cool.
Just like Liam, it didn't start off as something, I want to be this nonprofit founder. I don't want to be growing this into a big initiative. It just started off with the fact that I was seeing inequalities around me and I didn't really know what to do. And instead of crying about it, I asked my mom this question. And so year one, it was just 10 kids. Year two, it began and grew into 150 kids. And then I started partnering with NGOs, nonprofits, and then the government of India. And then I worked with cabinet ministers. I consulted on projects with them about girls' education, girls' health, menstrual health, saving girl children, preventing female infanticide. Then I went on to work with state governments, national governments, then with multilaterals. So it really was a gradual process of understanding and defining what does this mean for me, what does this mean for the work that I'm doing, and then things started falling into place, just understanding where do I fit into this puzzle of huge, puzzle piece of social inequality and what can I do about it. So understanding your purpose, finding your position in it gradually, and then starting to align things accordingly.
That's so beautiful. It's almost like your purpose really found both of you. And at the same time, you didn't think, this is a problem and this is an issue that exists. You thought, I actually have so much agency and autonomy to build this change. And if I don't do it, then who will? And on that, so if there's a young person, we're all young people in the audience here today, who's leaving, and they're sat on their couch, probably jet-lagged, or on this conference high, and still thinking, what can I do? How do I start? How do I become Anoushka or Liam, or someone who could potentially be better? Again, we're trying to make a better generation after us, right? What would your message to them be?
That's a wonderful question. I think I am talking to all of the young people in this room, even older people, even people who are already doing great things. I want to tell them that you hold the power to make anything possible. Anything that you imagine, you can do it. And you're not far behind or ahead. You're not in a race. That's what you really need to know. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And if anyone tells you otherwise, they're wrong. So know that you hold a voice, a unique one, and you're positioned to make a difference and an impact that no one else can. You can do anything, and you can do it with power, strength, and grace.
That's so beautiful and empowering. I mean, Liam, what's your message to the young person?
I would just say start. Don't wait for other people to say that you can do that. If my community had just continued along the track, we would still be sitting at 25% youth unemployment. So just start, find that problem that you're wanting to solve, and then just work your way through it and build that coalition of support around you. And just start, enjoy the journey. It's not a race, it's a journey. And that's something I've learned as one of my sort of reflections is I went too fast in some instances and put my mission and purpose backwards a little bit because I rushed things. So just start. It's really simple. Just start and enjoy the ride.
So dive in, take that risk, and see where life takes you, and learn what you can from it, right? We're still young. We have so much. And you know what's really interesting when you start young? No one's expecting you to become an overnight success, unlike when you're 40 or 50, right? So the risk is worth it, honestly. And I know I'm cognizant of time, but what is one call to action or one action that we can all do now to drive more meaningful change wherever we are in life?
Don't wait to make it big. Don't wait to work with labels or titles. Just start. Just start right now. You have the tools, you have yourself, you can do it.
And I just build on that by saying, find your community. Find the people in the area that you're interested in that are doing the similar things, because there's lots of people in this room, some that I know. That's what we love doing, right? We love meeting with like-minded people, and that's the way you maximize your impact, especially when you're dealing with a really tricky, gnarly sort of social issue or social challenge, because you cannot do it alone in some instances, because there's so much intersectionality between the different sort of things. So yeah, find that coalition and build those champions, and you can fly, right? It's so exciting. You can fly and make such a difference, and we can do that right here.
Yeah, like something that I realized here is, people think when they start a project, what if they fail? But what if everything goes perfectly right and successfully?
And even if you fail, that's fine. There's always getting back up after falling. Life's never a straight curve. Imagine if on the cartograph, your lines go straight, flat line. You're dead. You don't want to die. You want to keep going, right? So get down, fall, get back up. It's fine.
And just building on that, you can if you change one person's life, you won't regret it. You've changed the direction of someone's life for the better. There's nothing more fulfilling than that. We've impacted thousands of people's lives, but I can honestly remember one story of one young person walking down the street in my hometown who had been unemployed for years, and he was walking down the road with his partner, with his baby in his pram, and he was proud of himself and really excited for the future. So one life, that matters.
Wow. Thank you, Anoushka. Thank you, Liam. I wish I had more time to just grill you on life advice. I'm so inspired, and I really hope that you go on to inspire more and impact more people. Maybe in 5 years, we'll be at another MISC, and you'll talk about the millions of people around the world that you've already impacted. But so young, such big impact. And I hope everyone had enjoyed this session and can walk away with some really actionable points. Again, we'll be around afterwards for a chat or to talk, or look us up on the MISC app and maybe try to contact us. With that,
Don't hesitate, reach out.
Yeah.
yes, reach out. Don't be shy. Take that risk, and we don't bite. With that, thank you so much.
Kia ora.
All right, thank you guys. Anoushka, Liam.
Thank you very much. Fabulous. Yeah?
What inspiring words from such young people. It is crazy to see that at such a young age they were able to change so many people's lives. And I know they said something very important. Find your people, find the right person. So for now, I call you all to go on break, network, and find your person. The next session will take place at 8:45. I'd love to see you back here. Thank you.